A lot of crazy shit going on in the world. A lot of crazy shit going on in the world. What's going on, everybody? It's David Lyon here. I'm tuning in live to see what's popping and to jam with you guys. And yeah, wanted to talk about a few things, especially about how there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. And just how to navigate these times, right? There's a lot of crazy shit happening, a lot of people being pressured into making decisions that they don't want to make, a lot of people confused about what decision to make, a lot of division happening in terms of people choosing sides. You know, I'm gonna do my best to speak without using the social media trigger words, which gets your shit removed. So I'm sure everyone knows what we're talking about here. And, you know, my intention over here is just to have a conversation with you all, to be present, to share space with you all, and just to shine some light, share some reflections about how you can navigate yourself through these times, and have a date with destiny, right? You know, and when I say the word destiny, for me, destiny is the promise that you made yourself as a soul. It's your heart's dream. It's that what you're looking to fulfill for yourself, and that is available for you, but might seem challenging to attain because of whatever's happening in the world. So part of what I wanted to do here today is dissolve a lot of limitations and fears and seeming impossibilities around what's possible for you, right? And overall, just be here and jam with you guys. It's been a little bit since I did a YouTube live. I've been doing my thing. Hold on, I can't see the chat. Where's the chat at? Give me 1 second, people. I would love to see you guys. Where can I find my own live stream? Give me 2 seconds. So much trouble in the world. Little Bob Marley. Oh, here we go. Copy, paste. I'll watch my own video here. There we go. What's popping? Now I can see your messages. Ben, I see you. I see you. What's popping? Okay, cool. Now we're here. Now I can jam with you guys better. You know, and one of the key things that I want to remind you guys of that's really important, not only during these times, but period, this is a principle that you could keep with you, period, is that in every moment, you know, you might be experiencing a lot of problems, right? You might be experiencing things that you're calling as a problem, a blockage, an issue, a challenge. But I want you to recognize that instead of seeing things as problems, the moment that you recognize a problem, because of the world of duality that we're in, that means the opposite is also available to you in your consciousness. Meaning, if you can, the moments you notice a problem is also the same moment that your consciousness recognizes that they're also an opportunity. So the question is, which one are you choosing to focus on? All right, and so that's kind of what I want to dive into over here, where a lot of people right now, with, you know, freedoms being taken away, you know, it's some crazy shit going on in the world. You know, freedoms being taken away, people being forced to do things, not forced, but bribed, literally, to do things that may or may not be to their benefit. What I most care about is that people are making empowered and intelligent decisions. And so I gave my friend this analogy the other day that I think you guys might find useful, where, you know, right now, since so many things are being cut off, if you just imagine, actually, hold on, give me a second, let me reset, because I'm feeling, at the same time, I'm feeling you guys, and I'm feeling everyone in different spaces, and not everyone is exactly in the space that I'm talking about. So give me a second, let me just get my read of you guys real quick. Okay, that's a better direction. So what I'd like to open up a conversation about is how can you act on the opportunities that you do have, right? Because amidst all this chaos and whatever is going on in the world, there are guaranteed certain inspirations that you put on the back burner, certain intuitions that you put on the back burner that aren't being acted upon, which are literally your gateway to the kind of life that you might prefer to be experiencing regardless of what's going on in the world. So let's just open up a conversation. I'm going to take some questions and see how we could just, be of service to each other and support each other. I've been bribed and threatened, Ben says. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I was just talking to a friend, and I'm really doing my best to have this conversation without using, like I said, certain words, only because, I don't want this video to end up getting taken down if it could serve people. But I've just seen people put into a lot of really uncomfortable situations where, their salary is at stake, their livelihood is at stake, and a lot of people are wanting to make decisions out of fear, out of being pressured into a corner, which is unfortunate, So if there's anything that I can do to shine light on a different possibility for you, that's what I'd love to serve here today for you. So let me see over here. Okay. So, I haven't done this in a while, but let's just talk about the basics of what you know. So basically, as a human being, as you were birthed and incarnated over here, many people don't know their own instruction manual. Many people don't know how to use their inner GPS to navigate themselves through life on a moment-to-moment basis. And here's a good time to learn how to do that. And so what I most want you to understand, if you're new to my channel, then you're going to get a refresh. You'll get a nice new lesson over here. But those who are familiar with my channel, it'll be a good refresher, because one thing I always talk about is acting on your highest excitement and your highest passions and your highest joy, and why that's so important. And the reason why is because if you clairvoyantly, if you were to look at your higher self, in other words, that version of yourself which you're looking to become, your dream self, your fullest potential, your highest self is composed of 5 main energies: passion, joy, creativity, excitement, and love. Those are the 5 energies of your higher self. And so because your higher self, your truer self, your richest self, your wealthiest self, your dream self is composed of those 5 energies, let's just imagine that the most dominant frequency of those is excitement, meaning you're excited to be excited, excited about passion. We could be excited about love. As a simple fundamental, just in terms of what makes the gears of your life move in the most flow-filled, effortless way possible, it's always a question of simply acting on your highest excitement from moment to moment, because anytime you feel the energy of excitement pulling you in a certain direction, that is your higher self saying, this way. You don't need to figure things out. You can tune into where things are figured out for you. So the question that I want you guys to reflect on over here is, where are you not prioritizing your highest excitement in your life because maybe you're too focused on the drama of the world? It's very easy to get consumed by the drama of the world with everything going on in the news and the divisiveness. But will that empower you? Will focusing on that actually empower you? And if it does, great. But if it doesn't, then a question that could be helpful to recenter and align yourself is be like, okay, am I prioritizing my highest excitement and joys? Are there any inspirations that I've put on the back burner? Are there any intuitions that I've put on the back burner? That's you reorienting yourself to your inner GPS so that you can continue to head towards the destination of your destiny. This is your date with destiny. All right, so this is the framework, this is the foundation. And now let's see if there's any specific questions that you guys might have that I could jam on with you. Shout out to Bashar, yes. Oh, by the way, so it's helpful if you ask me a question, just type a capital Q and the 2 dots, and then your question. And if you could write it just as simple and concise as possible, that helps me see it and respond to it. Oh, it's hot as a motherfucker over here. All right, let me see what's going on here. Okay. Saloni says, I have ideas regarding career, but not sure how to move forward. So here's a reflection. So I'm sure a lot of this applies to a lot of people, right? You might have certain ideas regarding your career and your direction, but not sure how to move forward. So let me ask you something. If it was easy for you, what would it look like? Because oftentimes the complications we create are all in our mind. Actually, they're always all in the mind. So if I were to ask you, because as I'm feeling you over here, I don't feel that it's that you, and this will be true in pretty much every scenario. It doesn't feel to me that you don't know how to move forward. It feels to me more that there's an inspiration that you're afraid to act on because you're not sure how it will pan out. You're not sure how to follow through after that inspiration. Let me know if I'm correct over there, Saloni. And this is what happens to a lot of people, right? It's like you have an inspiration to go towards something, like maybe it's to create a certain kind of online event, or to do a retreat, or to run a program, or to start offering sessions, or to put your art into the world. Whatever that thing is, what people usually do is they get the first step of inspiration, but then they try and look too many steps ahead. And because they can't see how things will pan out, then they go into the vibration of stuckness and complication. When if you just act on the first inspiration that you receive and ask yourself the question, okay, well, if it was easy, what would it look like? How would I unfold this? How would I express this? And then you'll get a simple hit. You'll immediately get a simple hit where it'll be like, well, if it was easy, then I would just right? If it was easy, then I would just whatever that thing is, that's the first step. That's the act of most clarity. Now, chances are is it might surface insecurities, it might surface fears, it might even surface a whole different set of emotions that you haven't aren't used to sitting with yet. But the idea is to treat those things like a pebble in your shoe, right? You know, when you're walking on your path, if you get a pebble in your shoe, it might be uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean you have to stop walking and take off your shoe in order to keep going. You could keep walking, and then once you get to where you're going, then you could take off, then you could remove the pebble. So I just say that as an analogy to see how many of you here who resonate with what Saloni said have an inspiration that you simply have not acted on. You know, maybe you have a friend in your life who has more clarity or has more foresight, who has been suggesting that you do a certain something for a really long time, and you just haven't done it because you don't believe in yourself, or you don't believe it'll work, or you don't believe whatever case may be, but yet it's someone who is standing in a vibration of clarity, who cares for you, who loves you, and is suggesting something that on some level you actually do resonate with, but you're just afraid of how it might pan out. This is what I want to uncover over here, is just the next step. What is your next step with your date, with destiny, so that you can get the energy moving again? Because what happens, and I see this a lot, is when we take too long to act on the inspirations and the intuitions that come to us for whatever reason, when we take too long, then all of a sudden, because we're not moving that energy, we're not acting on it, that energy sits inside of us along with whatever other triggers and frustrations of our daily life are present, they just start it's like soaking in filth, right? It's kind of like, because you're not circulating the energy, you're not moving in new waves, so all of a sudden your emotions seem to feel heavier, your shit seems to feel shittier, things might even start to seem more hopeless, you might get more down on yourself and just be more dramatic or whatever the case may be, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to go into that. It's okay to have a hard time. My suggestion is simply, here is something practical that will help you move that energy, is to take a moment with me now to identify, what is your date with destiny? What is that next step? What is that thing? And please, if you have it, and something comes up for you, be it a challenge of fear and insecurity that is genuinely stopping you in your tracks, please share it with me as a question so that we could address it for everybody. All right? Hold on, I'm trying to get comfy because I got a bit of a weird setup over here. Well, I'm very much looking forward to getting a new house. I've been living out of Airbnbs for like 4 or 5 years, and finally getting a house soon. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be rooted and have my shit settled, proper setups and stuff. So very excited. So let me just see. Okay, here's a great question. I can't seem to locate passion, excitement, and joy within me currently. How do you do so? How many of you guys can relate to this? You can't seem to locate passion, excitement, and joy within inside of you. So what do you do when you can't locate it? The answer, here's the principle. First, I'll give you the principle, and then we're going to color it in a little bit. So the principle is, if you're over here, if you're feeling heavy, and passion and excitement is too much of a vibrational leap, like you just can't get there because you're feeling shitty, then the principle is to always move in the direction of a lighter feeling, which might be simply acting on a lighter feeling. So for example, if you've been frustrated at the computer and trying to get something done, and that's not a lighter feeling, and then you ask yourself, okay, what's the direction of a lighter feeling? And then you just go for a walk and just be with yourself without your cell phone. That is taking an act on that. You're choosing to embody more light. So when you act on lighter things, you'll then embody more light, which will give you lighter ideas and lighter thoughts so that you can take lighter actions and manifest a lighter reality. Because ultimately that's what your dreams are, right? It's just light. It's the light of your dreams, the light of who you are. So either you're going to move in the direction of a lighter feeling, or it might even be both, is ask yourself, what is it that you need to let go of, that you have been putting off letting go of? What is heavy in your life that it is time for you to let go of? And you know it's time. You've been receiving the intuitions, you've been getting the signs, but you haven't let go of that thing because you're afraid. What is that thing, that heaviness, that might be preventing you from going into lighter and lighter vibrations? Because you have to imagine you're like a hot air balloon, right? And because at a certain point of that hot air balloon getting lighter and lighter, in order for it to continue to go up, it has to let go of the heavy baggage, literally, that's holding it down. So part of accessing your passion, joy, and excitement is not only moving in the direction of the lighter feeling, of the lighter of the balloon, but it's also letting go of the baggage that might be holding you back. So let me know if this is starting to answer your question, Chance. And what pops up for you? What is the direction of a lighter feeling for you? And it doesn't matter why you've been resisting it or what your reason is. Everyone's going to have their own story. All that matters is that you can identify it. And then if you want, you could choose to act on it. Amazing. Exactly what I needed more clarity about. Thank you. Okay, dope. Cool. I'm happy this is helpful. Okay, hold on. I missed some questions here. Ben, I see you. I'm going to get to you in 2 seconds. Hold on. Okay. Can you show off that ring? Sure. This was gifted by one of my girlfriends back in the day. It's a lion ring. And because my real name is David Lyon. And before I did spiritual stuff, I did entertainment, and it was called Lionism. And so this was the girlfriend who helped me believe in myself. And so I love wearing this ring. Okay. Ben, I have a lot of different inspirations, and they all seem equally exciting, but sometimes it feels like I'm being spread too thin. How do if I should keep doing all of it or pick one? So it's very normal to have a lot of different inspirations. It's very normal to be multi-passionate. The way that you choose is simply asking yourself, of all of them, which one is the highest excitement that you have the greatest degree of ability to act on? Which one is the highest joy, the highest passion that you have the greatest degree of ability to act on? Okay. And normally by asking yourself that, because it's not just about following your excitement, it's about following your highest excitement, right? So that we're constantly reaching, we're constantly stretching ourselves into the realm and dimension of our higher self. There's a reaching involved. So generally, if you ask yourself which one is the highest excitement that you have the greatest degree of ability to act on, one will become crystal clear. If there are, let's say, two that are both equally your highest excitement, that you both equally have the greatest degree of ability to act on, then all you have to do is choose one. And here's the magical thing. Because in case you have that thought of like, well, what if I choose the wrong one? This is where synchronicity comes in. Let's just say you're like, okay, I'm just going to go act on this one. As you start to act on it, synchronicity will either support you or redirect you. So let's say you act on it and then, I don't know, the venue that you want to hold your thing at is closed. I'm just saying something random. Then that is synchronicity redirecting you and narrowing down your choice to the other highest excitement. On the other hand, if you go towards it and you just notice that you're supported in that direction and synchronicity shows up and like gives you the people and the things and the ideas and the inspirations and the creativity, then you just keep riding that wave. Does that make sense? So let me know if that's helpful. Yeah, let me know if that's helpful, Ben. If no new steps come to me, does it mean I am already on a great path? Yes, for one. Well, yes, for one, it can absolutely mean that you're already on a great path. Because in essence, truthfully, everyone's on their path. Everyone's already on their path. The question is just how are you choosing to walk it, right? Are you walking your path with, backwards? Are you constantly bumping into things, or are you skipping with joy and passion? So one, that just to highlight that you're already on your path, and if no new steps come to you, then it could mean that you're already doing everything to the best of your ability. And if so, amazing, you're ahead of the game. A question that you can ask yourself is, again, is there any highest excitement or inspiration or intuition that is present for you that you could act on that you haven't acted on yet? Or is there any that drops in? Because if there are, then that's simply the next step to your yellow brick road on the way to your dreams, to your date with destiny. All right. Yeah, what up, Anna? Let's go. Question. It's hard to choose. What happens if I change my mind? When you say it's hard to choose, what are you referring to? Are you saying it's hard to choose between your excitements? Because that's a good problem to have, for one. And if you change your mind, it's perfectly cool. You're allowed to change your mind. What's important is that you just act on it so that you start to move energy and you see what happens, right? It's kind of like, what I want you to understand is that there's truly nothing more powerful than a wholehearted decision. And the way that your guides and your angels and the universe serve you best is when you make powerful decisions. For example, if you have a choice about going a certain direction and this direction excites you and you're like, oh, I really want to go in that direction. But then your mind is like, yeah, but I don't know how I'm going to support myself in that direction. And I don't know where money's going to come from. And I don't know if I'll even be able to do it. And so you start trying to go, okay, well, I want to go that way, but let me figure out first how I'm going to make money if I go that way. Let me figure out first if I'm even worthy enough or good enough to go that way. And if you start doing all that stuff, you're going to get stuck in a wheel of preparation, as if you need to get ready for the inspiration that God gave you already. Let me tell you something about inspiration. If you receive an inspiration or an intuition, that is a gift, that is a blessing, and you've received it because you're ready for it. Life isn't going to give you anything that you're not ready for. So if you received a certain inspiration, if you have a certain dream, it's because you're ready to begin to step into it. That's why you received it in the first place, right? It's like, I was going to go into an example, give an example, but I think you get the point. So I have to go back to my train of thought. So if you received an inspiration, it's because you're ready for it. What was I just saying? I had a brain fart. Hold on, let me reread the question. Something about hard to choose. Oh, hard to choose. What happens if you change it? Yeah, so that's what I was saying, the power of making a decision. So the thing is that if you receive an inspiration or an intuition, it's because you're ready for it. And the second that you decide to go in that direction and you make a wholehearted decision, you know what? Okay, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be a full yes to that direction first, rather than needing to figure it out first. Big difference. A lot of people be like, I'm gonna try and figure it out first, and then I'll say yes to my inspiration. No, backwards. Say yes to it first. You receive it. Okay, I'm a yes. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm a yes. I'm going that way. Because the second you make a decision, now your guides know how to serve you because they can honor your free will. Because you made the free will choice to say, yes, I'm going this way, to act on the divine inspiration or intuition, then your guides, the angels, the universe, can give you the synchronicities that will support that decision. But they can't infringe on your free will and give it to you if you're not willing to give it to yourself. So yes, you can absolutely change your mind as you go. If that's what's inspired, you have the freedom. You always have the freedom. But give yourself the opportunity to see if you even want to change your mind by going in that direction and just choosing whatever that highest thing is. You know, the reason why I spit this truth so much, and it's like one of the core things I talk about, is because it's actually the formula to experiencing the life of your dreams, and not just experiencing the life of your dreams in terms of the destination and the manifestation and like having the money, the business, the girl, the guy, the whatever the case may be. Yes, it's all that too. But it's the dream process, right? This is where a lot of people get stuck, is their process for unleashing their potential, their process for revealing and manifesting their dreams is excruciating, is unpleasant. And if your process sucks, you're not going to want to do it, right? And the soul doesn't need that. This is a process that allows you to enjoy the process of your dreams. And that's why there's that famous saying that says it's not the journey is the destination, right? It's all about the journey. And when you're loving the journey and you're loving every challenge that comes up, every opportunity that comes up, every moment that comes up, that's when you're winning. And this is where I always say that your dreams are not a destination, it's a state of being. Your dreams are a state of being. It's how you're moving from inside yourself that will emanate the dream frequency and collapse in the dream reality. So I'm here to make you, or to help you fall in love with the process by stimulating your coding, your unique design, which is excitement, passion, joy, right? The reason why, myself and all kinds of spiritual teachers talk about, and all the scriptures, talk about follow your bliss, follow your joy, is because whatever is exciting to you is unique to you, because whatever might light you up might not light me up or light Joe Bob up, right? So that's what lets you know that it's your unique path. And that's what lets you know it's your unique lane. So why not make it easy for ourselves? And this is why I asked the question, if it was easy, what would it look like? All right, let me know if this is helpful for you guys, by the way. Okay. My problem is not finishing anything I start. That's perfectly okay too. That's perfectly okay too. You don't have to finish anything you start. There are many things that I start, not so much these days actually, but sometimes I guess, there are many things that I've started that I don't finish. Because it's not about finishing what you started, it's about moving. It's about getting energy moving. Because even if you start something and you don't finish it, at least now you've built up a momentum of passion and joy in your system. And if you do decide not to finish it, it's simply going to be because a higher joy, a higher excitement revealed itself that is actually more relevant to your path. And eventually you will tune into something that you'll be so obsessed with that it does, quote unquote, be taken to a finish, whether that's a program or an experience or whatever. But it's not about the finishing, right? That's why I say it's about a process. It's about falling in love with the process. Because I want you to imagine, I want you to treat this as a dance. I want you to treat life as a dance. There is no real, I guess there is a finish to a dance, because you could stop dancing, but that a dance could be endless too. There's no designated ending to a dance. You just dance until you feel finished. So treat this as a dance. And because to emphasize what I want for you, my intention isn't that you start what you finish. It's that you become so filled up with the momentum of passion and joy that is what is beginning to navigate your life. And you have those energies to lead the way for you. This is you on a date with destiny. Okay? Let me know if this is helpful. How can I transmute deep-seated insecurity, self-consciousness, and feelings of unworthiness? Sending you love from Costa Rica. Thank you for the love from Costa Rica. So the question is, how can you transmute deep-seated insecurity, self-consciousness, and feelings of unworthiness? By recognizing and telling the truth to yourself. Hopefully the bells aren't too loud for you out there. The church bells. Preach! By recognizing and telling the truth to yourself. Meaning, recognizing that if you truly weren't worthy, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have been created. That's a fact. If you wouldn't be an extension of the creator, of creation, of God, of whatever label you want to put there, if you weren't worthy. And I'm speaking purely mechanically, I'm speaking purely the fundamentals. So it's just taking a moment to recognize and tell the truth to yourself that of course you're worthy because you're here. If you weren't here, you wouldn't, if you weren't worthy, you wouldn't be here. And furthermore, the way that you experience more of your worthiness is by acting on those inspirations, acting on those joys, so that you can see the effects and the impacts that you have, right? Because let me put it to you a little differently. 1 second. When you begin to act on your inspirations, the thought of are you worthy or not won't even cross your mind. It won't, because when you're in the vibration of going for it, and the joy of inspiration, which is the energy of your true self, you're no longer a vibrational match to the thoughts of am I worthy? You're not even on that radio station in your consciousness anymore. You can only be on that radio station when you're not acting on your passion, joys, and excitement, because then you have time to think. But when you're so immersed in what you're doing, now, of course, certain insecurities can come up. You might be like, oh shit, can I do it? But you get to a point where the momentum takes over and it leaves you no room to even think, am I good enough? Am I worthy? And whatnot. You just experience, of course you're worthy. Of course. Everybody's worthy. Everybody's worthy or they wouldn't be here. Even what we would consider the worst of the worst person is worthy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. All right, so 1 second. Feeling something else over here. It also, and tell me if this is right or wrong, divinely unfolding. What I feel for you isn't so much a question of are you worthy or not. It more feels like a feeling of can I do it? That's what I feel inside of you. It's this feeling of like, can I do it? Can I actually do it? And the answer is you don't know until you try. You don't know if it's going to be that thing or greater, but there is absolutely something that you can do that is wanting to be revealed inside of you, but you just have to be willing to move in that direction and see, and do it purely for the joy. Do it purely because you love it. Do it purely because it's fun, as opposed to doing something because you want to succeed at it. It's okay to want to succeed, but do it because you love it. It's the thing that you would do for free. It's the thing that you would do no matter the amount of money, kind of thing. All right, let me know if this is landing for you. Carly, Ben, hold on. I didn't see. My perception of scarcity in many aspects of my life is coming up into my awareness lately. How do I heal that and start to perceive and experience abundance? I love this question. This is the number one question that comes up when it comes to acting on your dreams, acting on your passions, acting on your excitement is, what about the money? Or what do I do with my limiting beliefs around money? And what I always reflect to people is, no one has an abundance problem. What people have is a showing up with the abundance of yourself problem, usually. And there are exceptions, which I'm going to touch on because I could feel the flavors of what you're talking to over here. So, sorry, I'm just rereading this. So the way that you shift your mindset into a more abundant mindset, or heal your, what did you call it? Basically your poverty consciousness or scarcity mindset is, again, through acting and experiencing your joys. Hold on a second. A lot of different things in the field here. 1 second. It's interesting. It's been trickier for me to tune in these days because there's so much noise in the collective, and so I've had to find new ways to tune in, and that's been interesting in and of itself. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. 1 second. There we go. A lot of people use money and scarcity beliefs as an excuse to not act on their highest joys because they think it's a relevant fact or notion. They think it's relevant, to go, yeah, but what about the money? But if you're using it even subconsciously as an excuse not to act on your joys, I didn't start myself making money until I truly learned humility. And this is a key thing. I want you to hear this. For years, for over a decade, I have been devoted to my passions and my excitements. It's the only way I live and breathe. There is zero that I do in my life that is not the flavor of passion or excitement. Zero. And there was a time where even being devoted to my passions and excitement and following my spirit, I was still just barely making ends meet, and I couldn't understand why. I couldn't understand why is it I'm acting on my passions. I wasn't, I always had exactly what I needed, which is Bashar's definition of abundance. For those of you who don't know it, Bashar, one of my favorite teachers, his definition of abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Period. The ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Nothing to do about money, but it's literally the ability to do what you need to do. And so that's what I was experiencing. It's like I was always like just paying my bills and my this and my rent and like just, and every now and then I might get like a lump sum of money that came in thinking it was going to keep going, and then it would like drizzle out, and next thing I know I only had like $100 to my name or whatever case may be. And when I finally started making good money, I asked my guys, I'm like, why now? Why now? What shifted? What was the subtlety, the shift that I made that allowed for this flow now? And what they told me is you needed to learn humility, because before you were willing to veer off of your path unconsciously, because if you found the potential of a path that made a lot of money. So for example, I almost went deep into the coaching industry because I'm like, oh, you could sell packages for $10,000, $15,000, $50,000. Oh, okay, I'm going to do the life coaching thing. And let me learn those strategies, which is not a bad thing. But my path wasn't to remain as a life coach. I'm so much bigger than a life coach, just like you. But I was somewhat willing to go in a direction that promised a lot of money just because I could do it and I was good at it. I'm good at being a life coach. Oh, I'm good at doing hypnosis. Oh, I'm good at TV, right? And I was willing to veer off the path. And so my guides were purposely making sure I didn't get too much money, because it would have veered me off where I truly in my heart wanted to be and would have created more time. And so only once I got to a space where there was absolutely nothing that would shake me from my path and just being a messenger of love and just being of service and just purely being David Lyon, right? Then things started to come in, because at this point, I was prioritizing service way above money. The idea is not to chase money, it's to get money to chase you. And so that's what happened for me. And so for a lot of times, for a lot of light leaders, this is what I see, is you might think that you need more than you need, but think about it. You've successfully made it through 100% of every challenge that you've ever been through. You've successfully made it through 100% of every challenge that you've ever been through. That says something, right? That says that you are being divinely supported, even in those moments when you're like, I don't know how to fucking make it through this one. You always make it through. That's why they say this too shall pass. So there is a force, doesn't matter what label we want to put on it, that is unconditionally supporting you, unconditionally providing for you, and is also very, we'll say, intelligent or conscious about when it gives you what, for some reasons that might be outside of your awareness. So I share these things to say, as long as you have money at the forefront of your mind, you're going to create suffering inside yourself. But if you're willing to be like, okay, I want money. I would love a lot of money. Fuck it, I'd love to be a millionaire. That's great. What am I willing to give for that? Well, I'm willing to act on my joys and excitements. Okay, universe, I'm going to act on my joys and excitements to the best of my ability, and I want you to take care of the money part. Cool? Oh, you hear the guys? You hear them cheer? You say, yes, yeah, sure, perfect. Notice what you hear and what you feel when you say that. Notice how you vibrate. You know, for those of you who just did that with me. Make that agreement, if it helps you, with the universe of, okay, I want a shit ton of money. I want this kind of lifestyle. What am I willing to give to it, for it? Well, I'm willing to act on my passions and my joys and excitements, because that's also the feelings that I want to feel and that I want to create wealth from. And I also care about who I'm becoming as I'm creating the wealth that I want, because that's more fun than the wealth itself. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any miserable millionaires, and there's tons of them. So hopefully this is answering and touching on your questions in different ways. And if there's something more specific, let me know. But that's what I most want you to hear is, you know what, actually everyone here, take a moment, because money is a big one, is to take a moment and call forth your desire for money. Call forth your desire, let yourself have it, don't resist it. Money is also spiritual, it's also energy. Everything is divine. Not one thing is more divine than the other. It's just a perception. Call forth your desire for money in this moment. Everything you want. Oh, I want the millions. Whatever you want. I want the cars. I want there's no judgment on anything. You can be as superficial as you want. This world is yours. You're a creator. You get to create it however you want. Call forth your desires for money, for wealth, all those things, and imagine them as a feeling. Imagine them as a color. Notice how big your desires are as you do it. You know, I'm making hand gestures. My, you know, if I were to ask you, if I was in front of you show me how big your desires are right now, you might go, oh, like this, right? So in the energetic realm, you can sense the size of proportion of your desires. So call them forth. I want money. I want this, that, and the other. And go, perfect. Now give it to the universe and say, here, take this for me. Give it to your higher self. Here, hold this for me. Here's what I'm willing to give for it. And now I want you to generate inside of you the feelings that you're willing to give for those desires. Generate inside of you. So the same way you gave the desires, be like, okay, I'm willing to give my highest excitement and to emanate that. I'm willing to give my highest joy and to emanate that. Compassion and emanate that. Source all those feelings. This is where you get to be resourceful. Resourceful. Okay, be full of source energy. So all these things that you want to give, call them forth. Okay, I'm going to give that, and tune in and be like, is this a deal? Okay, I want these things. I want the money. I'm going to act on this. Cool. Then you let go of your desires completely, and you just act on the energies and watch what happens. Do this for 7 days. Do this for 7 days. Commit yourself to 7 days of just acting on those energies and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. It takes 7 days to do the impossible. the I'm possible, to create a whole new world for yourself. Take 7 days. I created my YouTube channel in 7 days. I created, I was thinking about my opening the channel program. Created one of my dopest programs in 7 days. It takes 7 days to create a whole new world for yourself that can sustain itself. So that's my challenge that I offer to you guys. And let me know how this resonates with you. Let me know if you guys are vibing with it. Beautiful. 7-day challenge. I'm in. I love it. How to release. Started crying. Amazing. Yeah, you got let money chase you. Let everything that you want chase you. The flower doesn't dream of the bee. It blossoms and the bees come. You don't need to sit there dreaming about money. Just blossom. Focus on your blossom. Water yourself with your inspirations. Water yourself with your intuitions. Nurture yourself with the light of your joys and passions, and blossom yourself, and you will have no choice but to attract the bees of abundance and synchronicity. You'll have no choice. It's going to chase you. The bees want the blossom. Blossom. Boom, boom, boom. Seeing if there's any questions I missed. What if all the doors are closed for the time being for you to access what lights you up, and also not knowing how to go about your passions, like what steps to take? Well, for one, that's not true. It might seem to your mind like all the doors are closed for the time being for you to access what lights you up, but that simply means that you haven't looked in new directions, because you are an infinite being. Whether you know this consciously or unconsciously, on some level, you know that you're an infinite being, which means you have access to infinite potential and infinite possibilities. That is your nature. That is your design. So it is not possible that you have no access to things that light you up. You just might not know how to recognize it, because now the familiar doors that you use to access it are not available, and you haven't learned to find the new doors. So what I would propose is to simply get excited about finding new doors. Get excited. Key words. Bring yourself into the energy of excitement and inspiration and curiosity of like, oh, what are the new doors that light me up? Because I could feel somewhere inside me that there is a direction that lights me up. Yeah, I could feel that. I don't know where it's taking me, but let me just tune into it. Let me dance with it. Let me just act on it wherever it goes, even if it doesn't make sense. Oh, it wants me to go for a walk in the forest? All right, cool. Oh, it wants me to say hi to that person? Oh, all right, cool. Oh, that person just connected me with an opportunity that I didn't even know I needed that's better than what I wanted? Okay, cool. Right? This is your date with destiny. Let life take you on a date. Let energy serve you. Your only job is to attune yourself to where that lighter feeling is. All right, so let me know if this is helping you. And again, this is all an inner game. One of the most beneficial things, shout outs to Ben, beneficial, get it? One of the most beneficial things you can do is to learn to be more vibrationally focused as opposed to physically focused. In other words, instead of being dragged down by your circumstances and weighed down by your circumstances, tune inwards and become more vibrationally focused and be like, okay, wait, where is the direction of the lighter feeling? Where is it? Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, what does that lighter feeling want me to do? Go this way. Okay. And be willing to stir with it, be willing to be awkward with it, be willing to dance with it, move with it, experiment with it, get excited about it, and it'll start to unravel. And you acting on that lighter feeling is not only your date with destiny, but it is you watering yourself with the water that assists your blossom. Let me know if this is helpful. Doom, doom, doom. By the way, I just wanted to say, how many, I'm looking at the, oh wow. By the way, I just want to take a moment to genuinely say that I truly appreciate you guys, and I mean that. Like, I often sit and I reflect on how much I love this community and the people I get to interact with. You guys are like my extended family. When I was going through a really hard time over like the last 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, you guys were so loving. Like, I would receive messages from you guys, just kind of, some of you just knowing I was going through something and be like, yo, like, hope you're well, keep shining, or some of you wondering where my posts were at, and just really supportive messages. And I really even have the feeling that, like, if I was going through something and I could hit you up and be like, yo, I need help, I feel like each and every one of you, at least for the most part, would be there for me. And I recognize that. So I just wanted to say thank you, because you guys are truly awesome. And I love this community that we have. And by the way, if you want to join a deeper community, if you want to join the Light Leader community and jam with myself and the other mystics and people who are devoted to their path of ascension, feel free to check out and join the Mystery School, which you can find on my website, www.livingmagic.life, Living Magic. And when you join the Mystery School, you get access to a whole bunch of different kinds of cool experiences, spiritual experiences that gives you the tools and support you need for your path of spiritual growth and evolution, including teaching you how to embody your spiritual gifts and your purpose. And you also get lifetime access to the Light Leader community, which is where all of us who are truly devoted to the path, or I mean, like, I don't say that in a way to exclude other people out who aren't in the community, but I think you get what I'm saying. But this is where we all hang out. And so if you want to find a greater sense of belonging and find more people like you and be able to have more fun conversations without fear of being judged and all that kind of stuff, check out the Light Leader community, join the Mystery School. We would love to have you. So, little natural plug. Great question. What if you're hurting people in the process of following your joy? That is impossible. That is impossible. And I'll tell you why it's impossible. Because when you're following your joy, you're following the energy of what's most true for you, right? You're being your fullest self, which means you actually have more of yourself to give. You're going to be more joy-filled. And joy can't hurt people. Joy is not a frequency that can hurt people. What you're talking about is people who might be attached to you, people who might have unfair expectations of you. They might get stung or triggered by you going and acting on your joy, but that actually has nothing to do with you. That's not you hurting them. That's them hurting themselves by creating a cord to you that can cause pain. By having an expectation of you, an attachment to you, that can cause pain. That's them hurting themselves by creating that attachment to begin with. And this is no fault of them either, though. I don't say that to blame them, because oftentimes, like, that's just where they're at. That's just where they're at in their blossom. They have certain insecurities and attachments, and they might project that onto you. But it is impossible to hurt anyone with your joy. For example, if I've had to do this, if you have to leave a relationship because you want to follow your passions and joys, and your partner just isn't about that life, they're happy for you or not, and they just don't choose to live in the big ways that you choose to live, leaving them can manifest the experience of pain for both of you, but it's not you hurting them, right? It's you choosing to go be with your joys, and them experiencing the pain of holding on to something that they know was no longer a fit. And so they're going through the pain that was already inside of them before you even left, but now it's just coming to the surface because the act was taken. Does that make sense? So you can never hurt somebody with your joys. It's not possible. And there was a quote that I heard once. It said, "No one's ever broken your heart. They've only broken your expectations." And whether that's true or not, it makes you think. Okay? Because I could perceive it from different levels. I could see, because of course there's real heartbreak, and there's also someone breaking your expectations. So I just share that to make you think. All right. So, how much time? Oh, it's been an hour. All right, I'm gonna jump off pretty soon. Again, I just wanted to jam here with you guys and help you out as much as possible so you can get into your date with destiny. But here's what I would love for you guys to leave here with. And this is literally the same thing that I propose to my clients who work with me at a very high level. And so I propose that you put yourself on a 7-day diet, a 7-day excitement and joy only diet. Those are the only energies that you are going to eat, are the energies that light you up. Excitement, joy, curiosity, inspiration, intuition, love, passion, creativity. Those flavors, those magical feelings, that's your diet, your 7-day diet. Okay, you're gonna feed your soul for 7 days if you wanna take this challenge. And if it is not those flavors, you don't eat it. If it is not those flavors, you don't eat it. You don't act on those energies. So if it's stress, if it's frustrations, if it's, I can, but I don't feel like it, or, well, I could do it to make this person happy, even though I really don't want to, and I'm doing it at the expense of myself. You don't do those things. You act on your highest excitements, passions, joys, creativity, inspirations, loves, intuitions. Okay, for 7 days. And watch what happens. Because I promise you, if you do this, I promise you, if you do this, you'll never look back. It'll become your addiction. It'll become your obsession, because your life will just become a magical explosion of abundance, synchronicity, and opportunities. And so there'll be no looking back. But difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. The first day can be difficult because you might be going against the momentum that you've already built up. Maybe you have a momentum of creating your life from a space of exhaustion as opposed to creating your life from a space of excitement. Okay? So difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. You can create the impossible for yourself in 7 days. That's my challenge. That's my invitation. That's the opportunity that I'm presenting to you guys. It's up to you if you want to take it. All right. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that you enjoyed this live stream. We've been jamming. Again, if you want to join, if you want to come jam with us even deeper and join the Light Leader community, I would love to have you there. There's all kinds of really dope guided spiritual experiences, stuff that shows you how to heal yourself and your deepest traumas, access to the Mystic Library, hypnosis, and all kinds of really great things. Check it out on my website, www.livingmagic.life, and you'll find all the info over there under Mystery School. So that being said, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm excited to hear how this 7-day diet goes for you guys. Make sure you leave your comments on this video as you go along, and I'll be able to keep track with you guys and just observe. All right. So lots of love and peace.